The second half of the week was cool and rainy, which was perfect for planting trees, which is exactly what we needed since the 700 we ordered had just come in. Early on in the week was warm and sunny, though. I can't help but feel a little envious of these geese bathing in the beaver pond. Not often does the beaver pond seem so inviting. The geese's nest had just recently failed, but they seem to be doing well otherwise. And the beaver pond has been full of activity. Belted kingfishers have been passing through. Hopefully one will stay. Towhees have been active. And there's been a groundhog hanging around the beaver dam. We are fortunate to have beavers here, otherwise this habitat would not exist. High in the sky, raptors can be seen soaring on thermals almost every afternoon. The northern harrier has become somewhat of a regular visitor in the high field. The chorus of field sparrows can be heard throughout the fields. Tree swallows have claimed most of our nest boxes. They have really benefited from the popularity of bluebirds, since they both required approximately the same size cavity. The tree swallows were one of the first migrants to arrive early in the spring, and will probably be the first to leave, perhaps as early as July. The males arrive first, claim a territory, and then the females will arrive later and choose her mate based on his territory. It seems that the males are more faithful to their territory year after year than they are to a particular female. The female will typically lay 4 to 7 eggs in her nest and then cover them with feathers of a different species. From observing nests later, we've noticed they prefer white feathers. Then she will take a couple of weeks to incubate the eggs. The male may provide food, but he will not be a part of the incubation. And then, after hatching, the hatchlings will take about 3 weeks to fledge. Typically, there will only be one brood per season. Oddly, there was a hermit thrush hanging out in the field one day, perhaps foraging for insects. Goldfinches will make their nests in shrubs in the field. We found a leftover nest from last year. Red-bellied woodpeckers spend the entire year here. It is hard to see, but their belly actually does have a tinge of red, especially during the breeding season. Their calls are quite distinctive. I've heard them on TV shows, such as The X-Files, every time Agent Mulder and Scully enter the woods. There's a nuthatch making most of the background noise, but right here you will hear this female respond to a call of another red-bellied woodpecker. Males and females look very similar, but males have a red stripe all the way to their bill, whereas you can see in this female, the red stripe ends halfway up the head. They spend much of their time foraging for insects. They chisel away at bark in search of them, and they also have long sticky tongues that help to catch the insects. They are known to cache food in the cracks of trees, and they are also a frequent backyard bird feeder visitor. Turkey season started this week. We've had a run-in with one hunter so far. The encounter was much less pleasant than the couple we had with deer hunters in the fall. It's apparent that the brown thresher is part of the mockingbird family due to its heavy curved bill and long tail, and of course the fact that it's a mimic. They are often visually concealed in shrubs, but even so they are easily distinguished by their song. They repeat their phrases most often twice. The only other bird up here with a song they are likely to be confused with is the catbird, which only sings its phrases once. Nesting house wrens also require about the same size cavity as bluebirds and tree swallows. They will lay half a dozen white eggs, coated in reddish-brown spots. The incubation period lasts about 2 weeks and will be done mostly, if not entirely, by the female. However, the male will stick around to help feed the nestlings. They most often have 2 broods per summer, although occasionally they will lay a third. House wrens have one of the largest breeding ranges of the birds. They will breed from Canada all the way down to the southern tip of South America. Their nests are prone to mite infestation. To counter this problem, they will often add spider egg sacs to their nests. The spiderlings will eat the mites. Cocoons are often found in the nests as well. That ratchet sound in the background is a house wren. House wrens are known for their hyperactivity, and their lively song is commonly heard in suburban parks and yards. It's been a pleasure observing increased chipmunk activity. The deer nearest the parking lot will lackadaisically move out of our path. But as you go farther into the sanctuary, the deer do get a little more skittish around us. Bringosaurs are becoming more common. This member of the ground beetle family, Poecilus chalcides, is recognized as an important predator of crop pests. We have found several during our tree planting so far. We have also uncovered a number of this species during our tree plantings. Some know them as May beetles, others as June bugs. Either way, they are notorious for their clumsy and raucous arrival under porch lights. Most anybody who's ever flipped a log is familiar with the house centipede. They are a voracious predator and can pack a nasty bite. It's certainly good to see bees around, especially honeybees. And interestingly enough, I've never noticed the importance of moss in providing water for insects. We noticed a beautiful crayfish while crossing over the creek. I believe this to be a fathead minnow, but I'm not 100% sure. I first noticed it swimming in circles along the surface of the water. It almost looked sick or injured to me, but upon closer examination, I believe it to be feeding on the surface. I noticed these toad eggs moving around a lot. I thought maybe they were being eaten, so I decided to place a camera under them to find out. It appears to be the tadpoles of the green frogs eating the algae that the eggs are attached to. If you look closely in the background, you'll see a red-spotted salamander swim by. The woodland gardens are really coming in nicely. And some of our plants, such as this mayapple, have established themselves outside the fence. And some flowers are in bloom, such as the squirrel corn, dwarf ginseng, sharp lobe hepatica, marsh marigold, red trillium, and sweet white violet. Some notable sprouts are the Indian cucumber root, jack-in-the-pulpit, and baneberry. And the tamaracks are growing their needles back. Baby tooth moss spore pods are really maturing. And we watched the spore pods of this fountain moss mature. I found the field horsedale to be quite interesting. This is a fertile frond bearing the spores, and this is an infertile frond. They are found in Arctic and temperate zones throughout the northern hemisphere, and throughout history have had many different uses with many different cultures. A lot of fiddleheads have been popping up this week, such as these Christmas ferns and lady ferns and silvery glade fern, the narrow-leafed spleenwort, and maidenhair. It's been a fascinating week, full of excitement, and as always, I look forward to the next.